Roughly 100,000 flights take off and land every day over the globe. Say, an average length of a flight is 2 hours. That would mean that 6 million people fly somewhere every day, you inclusive, of course. Flights last long depending on distance, and the longest flight presently is 18 hours and is from Kennedy International Airport to Singapore, operated with an Airbus A350 and a mammoth of 15,347 kilometers. This would mean that all passengers and crew, pilot inclusive, must have refreshments and meals on board. However, have you heard this argument that pilots usually don't eat the same meals or refreshments on board? Yes, if you have heard so, then by the end of this video, you must have known the answer right away. Before I begin, if you wonder a lot about aviation like airports, aircrafts, and careers, consider subscribing on this channel, like and comment anything that you would like to know about aviation. This content is brought to you by the one and only Avia Vibes. You all know that there is one chance in 3.37 billion chances of you dying in a commercial airline plane crash. This therefore means that air transport is still the safest way to travel. However, something on board could go wrong and make this particular flight unsafe, and this includes food and beverages. The last thing you would want to be affected by on board is food poisoning. Yes, you heard me right. Food poisoning. Once again, food poisoning. This can bring you stomach pain, churning, and using lavatory several times in a short time, without forgetting the rumbling stomach. Take an example of an Airbus A350-1000 with a maximum of 480 passengers, crew and pilots having consumed contaminated food and beverages on a long haul. Imagine the pacing up movements of passengers to and from the lavatory. Damn, this moment can really ruin your travel mood. Such event is really scarce, but it has happened before. Going back to 1984, where nearly all the passengers on board and several flight attendants contracted salmonellosis, and 120 passengers had to be treated on board, while one died from complications. Oh my God. Anyway, the pilots turned out to be fine by luck. They never ate the poisoned food. Another example was a Tokyo to Paris Airlines flight in 1975, when 143 of the 364 passengers became sick with food poisoning. The pilots also managed to avoid it because they didn't eat the bad eggs, rather had dinner options, while the cook who prepared the meal apparently took their own life in the tragic fallout. My God, what a horrific day it was. Anyway, today's answer to what most of you have heard about is yes, pilots don't eat the same meal before or during the same flight, even though it is not regulated by the laws, but it is a mandatory rule by the airline to reduce the risk of food poisoning for pilots. So what happens is the first officer will order his meal and the captain will make a different order, hence reducing the risk, of course. Dear friends and family, aviation lovers, I have come to the end of my video and I hope you have learned something. If you like the content, once again, consider subscribing, like, share, and comment anything that you would like us to talk about in the next video. Ciao, Avia Vibes.